we'll hit the Mexico. I think with the girl passing away, dying in Mexico on vacation, it's one of those things where, because we always hear, groups of friends go out on these vacations to Puerto Rico, Mexico, like every weekend. It's a group of girls, a group of guys on my social media that's going to Puerto Rico, Mexico, Jamaica, something like that on a quick weekend or week vacation. It's almost, routine here. So let me play this quick news clip here, and let's see, where are you at here?
A mystery in Mexico. How did a weekend with friends turn into a nightmare?
Something is not adding up right here.
Bernard and Salamandra Robinson say their daughter, 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson, traveled with friends from Charlotte to Cabo, Mexico on October the 28th.
I spoke with her Friday evening. She was having dinner. And I never spoke with her again.
The next day, their world changed.
On Saturday evening, they called and said she wasn't feeling well, and they was gonna call a doctor. But when they called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet, but they said she had alcohol poisoning.
They say they were told their daughter died from alcohol poisoning, but they don't believe that. They say they've heard different stories, and none of them add up.
We received the autopsy report on Thursday, and it said that her neck had been broke, and she had a back spinal cord was cracked. So that took it to a whole nother level.
In a statement, the U.S. Department of State said, quote, "We are aware of these reports. Protecting the welfare of U.S. citizens overseas is among our top priorities. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we have no further comment at this time." Shanquella's body arrived back in Charlotte on Thursday.
She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather. Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone.
Just a crazy story there. There's a couple storylines, right? You have the friends that she was with.
Yeah, so I mean, listening to that story, I think that story to me seems very early in the process. Mm-hmm. I think what we know now is that she went there with a group of people, and at some point she was extremely intoxicated and was videoed getting beaten up in the room by presumably the group of friends. Mm-hmm. When you listen to that news piece, and I'm not disparaging it, maybe that's all the information they had, but that reads to me like a beware of traveling abroad, because somebody abroad might do you wrong, which is a legitimate danger. But what we're learning about this is that it was the people she came with. And I mean, this is just highly disturbing on a lot of levels. I have kids her age, and my kids like to travel. In fact, one of my kids travels nonstop. And the thing about that is, like, you introduce maybe drugs, maybe alcohol. You put yourself in vulnerable positions in not great situations, and maybe you're traveling with people you don't know and you shouldn't trust. And horrific things can happen. And I just. It's tragic, I got to say that. It's horrible for the parents, horrible obviously for her. But it's also like, what the heck is going on? Why did this situation unfold this way? Right. Particularly with people you went on this trip with. Like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of times people are weird, like, out of respect, we don't need to know all the details or whatever. My mindset is I want to know, like, what went wrong here? Like, what really happened? Make this make some kind of sense. And right now, we don't have enough information to answer that for me.
You're going to count on a lot of people. You're going to need people to tell the truth, and that's going to be really challenging to get out of folks who are not going to want to suffer the consequences that come with
the actions,
with the behavior.
Yeah. I mean, I again, one thing, a couple of things that I have my understanding of. She was basically like left in the place they were staying while the rest of the travel party like literally went home, like back to the States, which is like, what the hell's that about? And then a couple people I know have said they've seen the video or parts of the video, and it's horrific, and everybody who is a witness to that should suffer the full brunt of legal action.
Well, see, that's going to, because we're talking about crossing borders now.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
The crime was committed in Mexico.
Yeah.
So, or the incident happened in Mexico, and then the folks who might be responsible for the incident are no longer in Mexico.
Right.
So now how that gets handled is going to be interesting.
It is, and we could be coming across another Brittany Griner type case. Because if it happened in Mexico, what if Mexico has the right to say, well, okay, if these people are responsible and if they did commit a crime, maybe
they should be extradited to Mexico to pay for that crime.
Yeah.
And then now you're getting into Mexico jailing system. I imagine it's not
different.
pleasant. Yeah,
it's different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I imagine it's different.
Well, there's a lot of things like in Mexico. I mean, is the death penalty in play or not? It is in some states in the U.S. It may not be in play in Mexico. I don't know. And then, what is the condition of prison life if that's the direction that things go? And even what is the standard of proof in Mexico?
Exactly.
I don't know that. That could impact. You could have a much harder time convicting people in Mexico, and especially this where you have what appears to be a group of people acting in concert. Their laws versus our laws on tying everybody to the crime in conspiracy manner may be way easier to prove or way more difficult to prove.
Yeah.
And those are unknowns. I mean,
it is.
That's pretty wild.
Why is there a video? You can't help but look at these and just say, man, young people are just so dumb and ignorant. Because why? Whatever the case may be, if they're fighting for a reason, or as the video looks, it looks like they're kind of almost forcing her to fight, almost like a, you know what I mean? And it's like, why videotape this? And then when something bad happens like that, and somebody does lose their life, lose their life, why is there still a video?
Right.
Well,
I have a couple questions.
Why does it get out?
Was this something that was streamed live and then somebody recorded it off the stream?
Yeah.
And now it's preserved essentially.
Yeah.
If it's somebody just shooting a video that's not immediately streaming, once she died, what kind of imbecile wouldn't destroy the video? Yeah. And I mean, if we're really talking about committing a murder, what kind of idiot doesn't dispose of the body? I mean,
yeah,
no body.
As we talked about, I don't. It could have been. What's most likely what happened was that it was dumb stuff happened. They got into a fight, or they were forcing her to fight. They were drunk. Fight this girl, and this is that, and and she died on accident. And so now everybody's
panicking and not thinking clearly and making really bad decisions.
Really bad decisions.
Yeah.
And let's just go back home and we'll figure this out when we get home. Let's get out of here. And it's just I don't know. It's unfortunate, like you said. Certain things like this, you want to know the details, because we want to know, if it was a group of friends or was it the Mexico cartel came in? You know what I mean? You want to know. What
for
happened?
sure,
Tell
for
me,
sure.
what happened?
Yeah.
So were they forcing you guys to fight at gunpoint, or what happened?
Yeah.
So I think more details will come out because it's a national story.
Yeah. But I think what you said very early is it would depend on people telling the truth, and everybody in that apartment now has a motivation to not tell the truth, to somehow absolve themselves individually of responsibility. Yeah. Point the finger at somebody else.
But my experience tells me that all it takes is one, and there's almost always one
who roll and give you something. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.